Hello and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. This is the first show of the episodes that I'm doing. So why is this show called this, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make, firm, establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. Also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Nick Pereira, known as Coach Nick. But before that, I would like to say thank you for watching this show, live or at a later date. It means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. And if you've never met me before, then my name is Ray, and I help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, transform their present, so they can take control of their destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use Angelic Reiki, future life progression, past life regression, meditation, angel cards, and hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their destiny. And I've also created a transformational journey to help you take charge of your destiny. Now, each episode of this show will cover various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guest, like today's guest, Coach Nick, who will be imparting his wisdom about how you can become a freedompreneur to help you with your calling, your passion, to be of service in the world and make that your reality. He's a highly sought after resource for coaches and healers worldwide who are looking to have a greater impact, grow their missions, and create a lifestyle for themselves at the same time. He is a skillful storyteller as he weaves ancient and modern wisdom into practical lessons. He has an endless supply of energy using social media to share of growth, transformation, and freedom. He has written a brilliant book, How to Become a Freedompreneur. He's a co-founder of the Cachet Academy and founder of the Freedompreneurs Club. So without further ado, hello, Coach Nick, and welcome to Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much. I so appreciate being here on your premiere show and being your first guest on this fantastic show. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. So before we get this fascinating conversation going, then whether you're watching live or the recording, then please hit the love button, as I love watching hearts and thumbs just flashing across the screen. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to it so that you can get updates on all recordings. You can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Coach Nick and I want you to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. And I can see we've got 2 viewers already in for today. So welcome. Don't be shy. Introduce yourself and say who you are. So, Coach Nick, why don't you tell me more about yourself and then how you can help women start to create their own freedom?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I help coaches and healers generate sales. And the reason that I help coaches and healers generate sales is because sales, when you know how to sell, it's like, it's that teach a man to fish or give a man a fish. When you know how to sell, that is teaching you how to fish. When you can create an income for yourself, then you can create tremendous amounts of freedom for yourself. And my whole life has been about freedom, but freedom has been introduced to me in different ways. The first level of freedom that I was introduced to is what I'll call material freedom. Like financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. I tried many, many different businesses. In fact, the first business I had, I was 17 years old. And I was selling little ceramics, like little angels and ceramic decorations in a flea market. And the guy next to me was selling subscriptions to satellite TV. And he was a funny guy. And he used to poke his head, because it was like a flea market, so you can imagine the little booths. He used to poke his head around all the time. And, hey, Nick, what's happening? And And everybody was really cool, because I was 17 years old and everybody was at least in their 40s, their 50s, running these little shops. And I was 17, and, they were all intrigued by this, sort of young guy that's like running a shop on the weekends and such. Hey, Nick, what's going on? And he's like, can I tell you something? I said, sure. He said, Nick, whatever you do, get residual income. He says, you know what that is? I said, no, I don't know what that is. He said, well, look, you sell one of these little ceramic things. You sell it once, and then you have to sell another one to make more money. But when I sell a subscription to this satellite television, they got to pay it over and over and over again. And that allows me to get a commission over and over again. So actually every month, every time I sell something, it doesn't just pay me once, it pays me over and over and over again. And I was like, oh, is that kind of like a musician? You know, they record a song once, but every time it gets played on radio, they get paid. Yeah. He's like, exactly. That's exactly it. So being a young guy at the time, I'm like, great, I'll be a rapper. And I actually decided I'm going to go and get into the music industry. And I did. And I ended up cutting a record and everything. And I ended up getting a distribution deal. But I wasn't very good. But the first lesson that I really learned was that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Right. Right. And also, people think that you need to be talented at something when actually what you really need is focus and determination. Okay. This trumps talent. There are so many talented people that have not been able to use their talents in a big way because they lack focus and determination. Mm-hmm. And so I really learned that to create any type of freedom, we have to have focus and determination. So I eventually left the music biz and kind of went to find myself. And I started another company called My Cleaning Guy, a commercial cleaning company. Okay. Now, again, I was after material freedom, right? Financial freedom, time freedom, this type of freedom.
Yeah.
And so I started a cleaning company. And that's when I met my first coach. I hired a coach. I started getting into personal development. I started getting into, realizing that I really had to transform my inner world to have an outer world experience that I wanted. And in that process, while we were having success as a business, I was miserable because I didn't want to clean carpets for the rest of my life, right? Yeah. I was just like, this isn't for me. And I realized the second level of freedom was freedom of expression. It's one thing to say, how do I want to make money? Great. Well, I want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. That's fine. Yeah. I want to make money. That's fine. But how do you want to spend your day? This is the second level of freedom. Because you could be making money, you could be making great money, but if you don't enjoy or you're not bringing your creativity or your expression into your work, then your work, even though you might be collecting a nice paycheck or making great money from your business, and I know many business owners and employees that are stuck in this, they make great money, good money, but they are not feeling free because they're not expressing themselves in the way of the world that they want. So the second level of freedom that I wanted to experience was this new level, was freedom of expression. And that's when I decided to sell my commercial cleaning company and become a coach and trainer because I really like teaching. And I really like expressing myself through videos and through speaking. So this became a natural fit for me. And then I was coaching, training, doing well, but there was still this little element that was still missing. I still didn't feel quite free and I couldn't place it. So I began to ask the bigger questions of life, like who am I? What is this nature? What is the world? And that sent me on a spiritual path. And in the spiritual path, I came to a realization that I am not my body or mind. I am not all of these labels. I am not my business. I am not the money I make. I am not all of these things, but I am consciousness. I am spirit soul. And in the realization that I am spirit soul, then I experienced freedom on a whole different level. And it didn't matter what the circumstance was. I feel free. So how do you attain freedom in your life? Well, you want to attain it ultimately on all three levels. But what I find is that if you attain it on the spiritual level, then it begins to manifest in the expression and the work you do, and then it'll eventually manifest in the physical results. So freedom is attained by realizing that you are actually free, and that is your inherent right to be free, because you are a free soul with free will and choice. And what limits that is all the confinements that generally we have placed on ourselves and that society as a whole has placed on us. The things, all the obligations you feel like you have to do. I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. When in actuality, you are free to set yourself apart from those obligations and live life the way you want. But it is different. While it sounds simple, I want to acknowledge that it is not. It is something that you'll have to work really hard to attain.
Yeah. It is when you're sort of like, you're in that daily grind. When you're in that daily grind, it's really difficult sometimes to actually connect with your higher self or your spiritual side to try and get that. So, I mean, if you get any tips that, if you're bogged down with work and you can't see any light at the end of the tunnel because you've got your bills to pay, etc., but you want to do something more, but you can't get into that spiritual side. Have you got any tips that might help people out there?
Yes. So I'm what's known as a Hare Krishna, and okay. we are, the main book that we study from is a book called Bhagavad Gita. Mm-hmm. And in the Gita, it explains the yoga system. So we're called Bhakti Yogis, right? And the yoga system is a spiritual process to self-realization. And it explains the process of karma yoga. So the word karma means action. So action, and we often think of it as what goes around comes around, or action and reaction. So karma is actually the actions that we have to take in life, that we have to actually go through in life. This is our karma. So what it explains on a very sort of simple level that you can employ right away is what's called karma yoga, where you become unattached to the fruits of your work. Okay. What this means is that in your consciousness, you realize that I am going to do my duty. If I've got to be a mother, I may have to be a mother, right? I may have to be a husband, a wife. I may have to go to work. These are the actions or the duties of your karma. Your situation or circumstance is there for you to learn and to grow. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is you want to actually give up the fruits of that work. And what I mean by give it up means you don't have to get your paycheck and just give it all up. What it means is that you don't become attached to the results of it. Right. What makes us feel trapped is that we are actually attached to outcomes in our life. I want this, I want this, I want this. And spirituality right now has this, many people are propagating or spreading this message that spirituality is about getting what you want in life. Mm. I'm spiritually evolved because I can attract what I want in my life.
Yeah, law of attraction.
Yeah, because I can attract what I want, this must mean I am evolved. No, it just means that you have a certain energy about you that attracts what you want, but it doesn't mean that you're spiritually free. In fact, much of your desires are trapping you. Much of your wants are actually what keeps you from feeling not free. So when you become unattached to the fruits of your work, meaning you realize that the fruits of your work are not yours to own, but yours to use in service of others, then you start to feel some freedom. So that's from a spiritual perspective. Yeah. And let me give you just a very sort of practical, everyday thing. Look to start a part-time business in some way. Because when you're working for someone, you can find tremendous freedom in that. But if you find that the job that you're currently doing isn't giving you the self-expression that you want, then spend your off hours building up a part-time business, an online business, a network marketing. There's so many different options, right? But I've helped many people transition, start an online business, start like an online coaching or healing business, and then transition over time into doing that full time. The key is to do it, start it now. Don't wait till the circumstances are all right and when I quit, then I'll do it, or when I retire, then I do it. Start it now, and part-time, start building up your brand, your following, get good at the skills while you have the paycheck and the pressure's not on. Use that time wisely to start building up a brand. And the online world has given us a tremendous opportunity like never before, where all of us can be generating an income part-time. And eventually, if you do it right, that part-time business can pay you more than your full-time job. And that's when you get to leave that. And now you've got some time freedom, location freedom, but you got to have determination and focus. You got to be willing to get started now.
Yeah. Well, we've got Susan, who's come up, and she's put a comment on there. Hi, just tuned in. Well, obligation was very much talked about by my family yesterday. So hi, Susan, and thank you so much for putting that comment on. And I think a lot of women will sort of like say we have all this obligation in our life, and I hope that with what Coach Nick has said, that maybe you can kind of like let some of that obligation, have some me time. You can have the obligation and do everything, but have that me time as well. Even if it's in the bathroom.
That's right.
And that 5 minutes, shut the door, unless the kids are banging on the door, which quite happens. But when they're in bed, etc. That 5 minutes instead of the telly or something. You can spend some time on you, whether it's in meditation or on your online business or building up what you want to do.
That's right. See that obligation, rather than seeing it as like I have to do it, see it as a practice, a spiritual practice, right? Oh, I've got to take care of I'm in the bathtub trying to get some me time and the kids are banging on the door, right? Well, this is the perfect time to practice tolerance, the perfect time to practice unattachment, the perfect time to practice, who you're showing up as in the world. So the whole world is set up for you to evolve internally. The challenge is that we all get caught up in trying to evolve our external world.
Yeah.
Instead of our internal world. But when we turn our consciousness inward and we begin to evolve internally, then naturally, externally, there will be new opportunities for you to express freedom. So the whole key is to actually use your internal freedom. Freedom needs to be attained within, and then it can start to manifest without. But there's non-difference between within and out. So that's why I said start now. Start to take the actions today that make you feel more free. So for instance, if you're doing a job right now, great. Start your part-time business and start your online business and start working towards it now, because by taking action now, you're actually cultivating the inner world that says, I'm desiring more freedom. So you use the outer world to cultivate the inner world. And then as the inner world gets cultivated, the outer world will naturally begin to shift for you.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. Oh, Paul Boggy Brighton is on. Hi guys, he's saying.
Sifu.
Yeah, Sifu's there. I can totally go with that, because obviously, I've had a full-time muggle job. I like calling it muggle job because it's not really what I do. So I had a full-time muggle job. But I started on the times when I wasn't doing the job, trying to get clients, do my training, do all my learning, especially all the training and the learning things that you can do online without actually going to places or, finding the time to go and do it. And gradually I started building that up I got to the point where I was able to go part-time in the muggle job, so that the part-time business can bring the extra income that you're not getting from the muggle job. So it's worked for me, and mine wasn't even online. So, you can start in various many ways to actually get to that point.
That's right. The key is to start with where you're at and not wait. Too many people are waiting. Oh, when my kids graduate, when when, my husband gets his stuff together, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I'm just joking. Right. So it's, when this. But life is happening now. And, the Buddha said, the problem is you think you have time.
Yeah.
See, the problem is that we all think we have tomorrow. We think tomorrow is guaranteed, but it is not. So if you don't find some freedom today, some joy today, some happiness today, stop waiting for tomorrow to feel those feelings. Stop waiting for the circumstances. I'll tell you a quick story about myself. I was in a pretty dark place at what point I was feeling. This was in the couple years when I started coaching. I didn't have a job, so I went right into coaching, and it was tough, right? Like it was tough. I did the noodle dinners and the oh gosh, I hope I hope we make enough money to pay the rent this week and all that kind of stuff. Do this anymore. And my wife Sarah said to me, "Do you mean like quit? Like you can't coach anymore?" And I said, "No. I can't do this anymore. This meaning this feeling. I can't do this anymore. I'm frustrated. I'm not happy. I'm waiting for," and I literally was like, I don't care. I don't care what the circumstances. I don't care how much money's in the bank account. I don't care. I am going to start living happily because that's my free will and choice to do that. Yeah. And you know what? I fell asleep, and the next day I literally felt lighter, and I started living more happy because I was done with feeling that way. And I knew in myself, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to resist what is the reality. Stop resisting your circumstance. Stop saying, I wish I didn't have the job, and start being grateful for the job while you build your dream after the job. But be grateful that the job is helping you pay the bills and is giving you the opportunity to invest in some training, invest in some coaching, or whatever it is. So when you start to bring gratitude to every aspect of your life, then this world starts to show you how that gratitude can expand into some of the things that you do want. But you cannot wait. If you wait, you will forever feel trapped.
Yeah, it is. And gratitude for everything. Yeah, the way I looked at my muggle job was it was paying for this course. It paid for me to go here. It paid for me to actually do what I wanted to do, to actually take me on this step. And we have Sonia Adams, who said, "Hi, just joining." And Susan Lewis has actually come back and said, "Hi, and yes, particularly with my son, who always brings the energy to everything he does. He needs not to get attached to the job he is doing now and know that this is only a temporary place. He needs to shift the energy that is weighing him down. He has so much to offer. I left my position in the bank in January this year as it was time. Joy is the simple things." Well done for you, Susan.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations. It's very inspiring. And just by your presence, will help shift other people as well. We always, Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Yeah. If you want to experience more freedom, then start to experience more freedom by the choices you make. Freedom is expressed through our day-to-day choices, right? And here's the a little bit, it seems like an oxymoron a little bit, but the thing that's going to allow you to do that is discipline. Okay. And that is a scary word, at least it was for me. Discipline meant my father coming into the room. That's what discipline meant to me, right? Growing up, right? Oh my gosh, right? I'm not saying disciplined, but I am. Yeah. Meaning freedom comes from being able to choose what the soul desires in the moment rather than what the body or mind desires in the moment. I'll give you a practical example. The soul wants to experience and serve and love and be loved. This is the nature of the soul, is to love and be loved. This is the essence of the soul's activity. The body is concerned with survival, and the mind is a function of the body. Okay, so the mind and body, or what we call the false ego, is concerned with your survival and your immediate pleasure. That's its business. So when you look in the fridge, the soul will choose the apple, and the body and mind may want to choose the cake. Okay?
Yeah.
This is freedom. Freedom is when you have enough discipline to choose the apple, because you know that's what you really want, because what you really want is to live a healthy life. And you know that if you really want to be happy, you got to be healthy. And if you want prosperity, you got to be healthy, because it takes energy to create freedom. So therefore, you are required to cultivate the discipline to consistently choose the apple over the cake. Doesn't mean you never have to have the cake. You can have the cake, but when you have the cake every day, you're often going to taste the nastiness of the cake.
Yeah.
You know, there's our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada would say, what often tastes like sweet at the beginning turns to poison later. And what often tastes like poison at the beginning becomes sweet later. Yeah. Discipline is like poison at the beginning. It tastes like that. It's like Buckley's cough syrup. It tastes nasty, but it works. But then once you cultivate it and you're like, I consistently choose what's good for me, now you've got freedom, because you will consistently choose the best thing for you, for those around you, and for the world as a whole in every moment. And this will lead you to an awesome, free experience of this world. You will live joyfully, freely. You will be amazed in just a few years of cultivating discipline, how it will free you. So you may think that freedom is portrayed right now sort of in media and in movies and such, like do what you want whenever you want. You know, this is kind of this freedom. I can just do whatever I want whenever I want. But actual freedom is about following your soul's desire in every moment. And that means cultivating enough discipline to not do the things that your body's always going to. Your body's going to tell you, sleep in for an extra hour. But your soul's saying, get up and let's get going. Your body's going to say, I don't need to go to the gym today. I went last week. And your soul's going, come on, let's get healthy. Let's work out. Let's be strong. Get on that yoga mat. Your body's going to say, I can just binge watch Netflix all day, when your soul's like, turn that off and meditate so that you can get to know your divinity. You got to be able to follow that higher self, that calling. And that requires discipline. But when you cultivate it, now you've got freedom.
That's a brilliant analogy. Well, people can still see you, but I've obviously disappeared off the screen at the moment. So, so I'm not sure how I'll get that back. But as long as everyone can hear me, then that's absolutely fine. So if anyone who can't see me, please can you just check that you can just tick that you can hear me. And Nick, if you can say that just in case they can't hear me.
Yeah. Guys, everybody, let us know in the comments below. Can you, because I can still see you and I can still hear you. So I think you're coming through all right. At least on my end, you're coming through all right. But if you can see Ray or hear Ray, let us know so that we know, that we're still good here.
Yeah.
We can see both.
Has said we can see both. So
yeah, I think you just lost it just on your side, but I can see you perfectly fine, so that's good.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. But yeah, that was quite a good analogy. I like the apple or the chocolate, and that's kind of like an easy way of actually working out, what you should and shouldn't be doing with the discipline side of it.
Yeah.
And it is, all discipline. Yep, everyone is now saying, Sonia, it's all good. Jackie, hi Jackie. Can still see you, Ray. Yep, hear you both. Thank you everyone for saying that. It's actually quite nice that I can't see myself on that bit, but but there you go. But the good news is that is good if we if depending on what we do next. So Nick, have you got any last minute tips or anything that you want to give the people who are watching a little tip on getting their own freedom? We've gone through the spiritual side and the discipline side, but is there any quick little tip?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just, don't feel like you have to know all the answers, right? But seek the answer. Seek and you shall find. So become a seeker. What it means to be a seeker means I recognize I don't know, so I seek to know. And actually, if you always stay the seeker, you'll always stay with an open mind and open energy. And then follow the trail, follow the breadcrumbs. Trust that this is a loving, beautiful, wonderful universe, and that it wants the best for you, and it's going to lead you to the best for you. But you have to be courageous enough and disciplined enough to take action on the actions you know. So that's, be courageous, start right away, stay open, become a seeker. If you become a seeker, life and this whole universe will open up to you.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. That's a brilliant thing to sort of like end towards. And Susan, bless her, you look gorgeous, right? Because you are gorgeous. Thank you, Susan, so much for that. That's absolutely lovely. So thank you. Now, as you know, Nick, I do guided meditations, angel card readings. So each week I'm going to ask my guest, Nick, would you like a mini guided meditation or an angel card for yourself and those watching? So, Nick, what would you like?
I will go with an angel card.
With an angel card. Okay. So, let's have a look. So, got my cards here. And that. So, just give them a quick cleanse and a quick bless. Now, as some of you may know, I don't actually predict the future when I do angel cards. I always do my cards for what we need to know for our highest good at this moment in time. And the reason for that is, although I work with past life and future life, for me, the past is to heal from. And if you heal your past, it helps you in your present. The future is yet to come, and it's what you can create. And if you create your future, you can bring it back to the present. So I like to always be fully in the present, hence why my card readings are always for what we need to know for our highest good moment in time. So what does Nick and everyone who's watching this, either live or the recording afterwards, need to know for their highest good moment in time? Okay, so we'll go with that card. Okay, and we've got view from above, get the big picture. I don't know if you can see that there. Go that way.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, and the thing with the cards when they come through, quite often I don't actually have to do the reading for it, because they're normally verification of what you actually need to know. And it's kind of like what we've been talking about, really, and is looking at the bigger picture of things. Don't just look at the obligations that you've got. Don't just look at your spiritual side. Don't look what everyone else is going around doing. It's look at the whole picture as one. And when you look at the whole picture as one, all those little aspects all come in to play, and it helps you create where you want to go and what you want to do. So I think that card's that's a pretty good card. And as I do with all my readings, that's my interpretation of it. But you might pick up something different or agree with it, and that is absolutely fine, because the card is your card, and that, so you take from it what you want to take from it. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Totally. It does to me anyways.
Yep. Yeah. Susan has said the whole picture is spectacular, which is absolutely brilliant. So thank you for that. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed watching this and found it insightful, and that the words of wisdom Coach Nick has given you kind of like help you further on your journey. So now, Nick, if people want to connect with you, how do they do it?
Yeah, well, we're here. We're here on Facebook doing this live. So if you're watching this on Facebook, just hit a friend request button and reach out, say hello. That's awesome. Also, you can visit me at www.coachnickspeaks.com, and there's actually a free gift there that you can take. It's a class called Selling Authentically 101. So if you've got an online business, a coaching, a healing business, or you want to start one, it's a great foundational class. It's 30 minutes that will give you some of the foundations to lay out so that you can generate more sales in your online business, which helps you attain more freedom. So those are two great ways to connect with me.
Yeah, and I'll say do it. I did it, and I'm speaking to Nick now, and he's coached me through some stuff. And Joanna Harris has said, very inspiring. And Susan Lewis has said, I'm painting the most beautiful picture of all time. And Susan has now said, thank you both for a spectacular show. And she watches Nick on the Academy. Awesome place to hang out. Yeah, I've been on there a couple of times myself, and it is pretty cool. And
cool.
So I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and I would like you to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you. So please feel free to share this out. It'll be absolutely brilliant. And if you need help finding your destiny and getting clear on your path, I would love to be that guide for you. So just reach out to connect with me, as I would love to book a free 20-minute session with you to have a quick chat so I can find out more about you and how I can help you on your journey. And by the way, I will see you next Wednesday, the 14th of November at 8 p.m, where I'll be having a conversation with my guest, Angelic, who is an author, entrepreneur, and leading world pioneer of future life progression. So hopefully I'll see all you then. You'll come along with a nice cup of tea or a drink and just settle down and join in the conversation as you did today. So thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. Bye.